Hi. So why don't you introduce yourself to the audience? I'm Imani Ruffins. Um, I'm a native of New Orleans. I've been here 48 years. I've been a New Orleans police officer for 23 years. That's my dream job. I've always wanted to be a police officer. Okay. And what inspired you to want to be a cop? I wanted to help people. Genuinely be a helper. Um, I know people call the police as a last resort, and ultimately, I was a victim, and that made me finalize my decision. I'm going to go into my home, and I saw them leaving. I was able to get a license plate, a description, and I called the police. And the police treated me so bad. Wow. And I asked, why, why are you talking to me so bad? And he was like, you're not the only victim. And I'm like, but this is my first time being a victim. So I need you to treat me accordingly. Don't treat me like you've handled 10 victims in a day. Treat me like I'm the first victim that you had. I said, because I've never been a victim. And he was like, people get robbed and their houses get broken into every day. And I told him, I said, you know what, I'm going to be a police and I'm going to treat people differently. He was like, well, when you become a police, let me know. And about 2 weeks after I got out the police academy, I ran into this police officer. And I said, you remember me? And he was like, no. I said, well, you told me to get in line basically and that I'm not the first victim. I said, and I told you I was going to treat people better than you did. And he was like, well, see me in 10 years. I said, I'm going to be the same. I'm going to treat people like victims and be compassionate. And I've never worked for that.
And that's important. I think in a lot of occupations, people lose the people side of it. So I remember sitting in an HR class in school and learning about the people aspect of business. Because even in business, as business owners, you have to remember that people are people. So that's commendable. What I wanted to also ask you about what's trending nowadays as a police officer is how do you feel about all of the tension in the world with the community and the police? And being a good cop, how does it affect you?
Okay, so I'm just gonna say as a good police officer from day one. Whenever I would have to be partnered up with somebody I wasn't familiar with, I had a few rules as soon as they got in the car. I don't steal. I don't disrespect people. I do not put my hands on people that's already handcuffed. If you have a problem with this, we can't ride together. And out of the number of times that I did that, I've had 2 people to get out the car. So guess what? Now I know I have to watch it because I'm going to tell. I'm not going to tolerate that because we all represent one uniform. Even though we're individuals, people look at us as one, even though we're not all the same. And there's way more good cops than bad cops. I know it doesn't look that way with the media. We are there. We are monitoring and dictating. And we're keeping an eye on those people. I can't speak for every other department, but I know in New Orleans, we're a tight-knit department. You're not going to see too many incidents where we're going to be doing something wrong. Because we do check and put in check officers that we see are not doing the right thing. And most of the time it's corrected. So I'm not going to say it's not any, but it's few. It's more good than bad.
I'm glad I can kind of agree with that. My grandmother was fortunate to take Robinson, and I just know so many cops just from her. So I can kind of agree with that about New Orleans. Going to a more personal side, I noticed that you do crafts. and cakes and treats and things like that, because I do follow her on social media, guys. Which is why I wanted to interview her, because she's such an inspiration, has been an inspiration to me. At the beginning of COVID, she put up a post where she was going to do a craft idea, and I actually went out and bought the items and participated. It was kind of like an online party type thing, and it was fun, and I needed help with one of my purchases, and I contacted her, and she walked me through what to get. It was the Mod Podge stuff or whatever it was. I couldn't find it. So it was fun, and I think it was on a Sunday. And I actually planned in my planner to do this activity because, I mean, we couldn't go anywhere. So I kind of grew an attachment over the web per se, and got a glimpse into her personality and who she was and the things she did. So I just want her to elaborate on that and share that with you guys, about her crafting and what inspired her to do crafting and what's changed for her with her crafting and treats and things like that.
Okay, so in 2013, I started making cupcakes because I would buy cupcakes often because that was like my favorite thing, but they were overly sweet, and I would always knock the icing off because I couldn't eat it. So I started like making my own, and I would just bring it to my coworkers to test and critique, and then it just kind of snowballed into somebody ordering like 100 mini or 50 here. So I just started selling it on the side, and somebody called one day and she was like, "Can you make me some candy apples?" And I was like, "I online, YouTube, have everything." I tell people, before you call or pay for anything, Google it or YouTube because it's there. And I made some candy apples, and she was like, "I want them to be white." And I'm like, "Oh my God, that's not what you said." You know, like I'm stressed out, and I'm easily stressed because I'm sort of like a perfectionist, but I have OCD, so if something doesn't look right visually, I have to do it over and over. And she was like, "And I want giraffes on it," and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, like this is not what we agreed to." So for days, like I'm practicing with candy apples, I'm buying stuff from Walmart, I'm Googling, and I figured it out. And I had these white candy apples with blue giraffes.
Wow.
And then at her baby shower, I think I had like 3 contacts, people called for candy apples, and then 4 people, and then 50 people, and then I had like orders from like 2014 to 2015. I was known as One Skinny Baker. Like that was my name. And that all deprived from somebody ordered something from me, and they were like, "How do you bake and you're so skinny?" And I was like, "Because I'm just One Skinny Baker," and it stuck.
Yeah.
And I was really good at it. I was really passionate about it. I was meticulous, and I always give people a product that I would want. And in 2015, unfortunately, my daughter was shot and killed, and One Skinny Baker died with her. I no longer had the passion to bake apples. That person died. Yeah, this is a new line, different. I'm not gonna say I was always humble. My nickname is Mimi, and that's a family name for obvious reasons. But I was standoffish. I isolated myself because I don't like to be bullied. I don't like to be judged. And being raised in a house with all men and going to school and learning the behavior of females, I didn't like it. So people had a perception about me because I was quiet and I was a loner. But after losing my baby, I realized so I made a vow to her, and it took me a few years, that I would at least have something good to offer anybody who came in contact with me, something positive to see. I didn't want anybody to walk away with a bad experience after talking. So I just kind of became transparent.
Wow. And what would you say helped you to make the transition?
Basically, just life is short. Like, you just never know when it's your last day. And I really wanted to be a positive impact on everybody, even if it was something small. I just knew I had to change and not keep thinking about how I was going to change.
So it was a day-to-day process, and it was something that happened over time.
Right.
So what's next for you?
So I just started a new venture. And I'll explain to you what happened. I transitioned from doing the candy apples to making shirts. And that transpired because I felt crazy one day. Like literally, I felt like a crazy person. I was like, I need a shirt to reflect like I'm mentally ill. And I couldn't find any, so I was like, I'm just gonna make one.
Right.
And I found out that the semicolon is a symbol for mental illness.
Really? The dot in the column?
Yes, ma'am. So I made a shirt with a semicolon.
You haven't advertised that. I haven't seen that on your
I
page.
did.
You did? I missed
Well, I made a couple of shirts for myself, and I said I couldn't find a shirt to help with the mental illness, and I made one. And just like the candy apples, 3 people called me, can you make me one? And I made 3, and I made 6, and I made 60, and I made 600. And I started another business called Ruffins Inc. So I was doing shirts and purses and potato chip bags and personalized Hershey's, just like party supply stuff and girls trip shirts and stuff like that. And I wanted to do something this year to honor my daughter on her birthday. And I was just kind of thinking of what I wanted to do. And I had a customer meet me. She ordered a shirt that I made. And it was a white female. And I have a lot of customers that I don't know, but she wanted to meet me. She asked to meet me. And she was like, I want to talk to you about something, but I don't want to come across the wrong way.
And you got the call from the lady. She expressed the desire that her and her friends wanted to spend money with you, so you pondered for a couple of months and thought about it, and then you began to research and
Right. So I knew I like to do painting, like acrylic pouring and anything with my hands. Anything artsy, crafty, I did for my family, myself. I made my own pictures for my wall. My brother has a few businesses in Baton Rouge, and he asked me to make some custom pieces for him, but I never showed anybody because me critiquing myself, I just didn't think it was good enough.
yeah.
So I was like, well, let me see what I can do to cater to a different audience. And I was making these weed roller trays, right?
Okay.
So I would create an image to cover the tray, and then I would cover it with resin to harden it and to protect the surface. And then I started looking up stuff with resin and acrylic. And I started making these resin coasters and these wine bottle caddies and keychains and anything with resin. And I said, you know what? This is my audience. So I created an Etsy site and I named it MAD, which is my daughter's initials, Milan Dominique Areola.
Okay.
And it's called MAD, the Milan Experience. So I opened it on her birthday. I got my LLC, my trademark and everything. I did it on her birthday. She would have been 26.
Wow.
And I dedicated it to her. And I have been doing so well. I have a broader audience. I've done my first pop-up shop. I did really well. So I'm getting there. I think this is my thing.
You think this is your niche?
I think this
it takes a while to find your niche, but you are very talented, I must say. And I think we still have a couple more minutes. So I do want to ask something that I've been dying to know. How is it being Kermit Ruffin's sister? How is that like?
Okay, so Kermit is just Kermit to us, right? And it's been an ongoing family joke. No matter where I go, my entire life, when they see that last name, they say, are you kin to Kermit? Some people ask, is that my husband? Is that my uncle? My dad? And I'm like, he's my brother. And it was like, your real brother? And I'm like, we have the same mom and dad, and Kermit is just a regular person. And all my life, I've been known as Kermit's sister. Like literally, my entire life, I've been Kermit's sister. Some people will be like, we didn't even know Kermit had a sister. Right. Because I'm the youngest, and my dad used to keep me kind of isolated from, the boys. And unfortunately, like when my daughter got killed, now Kermit, the joke is, I'm Milan's mom. Like I'm no longer Kermit's sister, like I'm Milan's mom. And now he says, people are saying, you're Imani's brother. And I'm like, no, he's the next turn. I was like, now you know how I felt my whole life. But Kermit is definitely my dad. Everything about Kermit is my dad. Free spirit, he lives by the moment. Nothing beyond the minute that he's in, he's not thinking about it. He's not thinking about what happened before or after. He's in the moment. I love him. That's what I admire most about him. He doesn't worry. I'm a worrier. So that's what I love about him, because he's a free spirit, like always.
Hopefully one day I get a chance to meet him. So in closing, I'd like you to tell our audience where they can purchase your unique items and how they can contact you
So-
for purchases.
I have 2 ways to contact me for Ruffins Inc. Any of the items on that, I'm on Facebook and Instagram under Ruffins Inc. Or you can email oneskinnybaker@gmail.com. And for my Etsy shop for the Milan Experience, you can reach me on Etsy. Just search MAD, M-E-D, the Milan Experience, and you can order as much as you want.
Thank you guys. Y'all go and support.